So, do you think that MapQuest is going to come back? That's what I want. I want them to come back.
No. Welcome to Table Talk. I'm Rich.
And I'm Alex. And this month we've been talking about maps.
This is part 4 of our maps series this month, our last series, or our last episode of the series. We had so much fun talking last week about Google Maps that we're just going to keep talking about it. So we got some funny images to share and just kind of some images from Google Maps and Google Earth that we wanted to share with each other. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're also going to kind of add in some of the movie conversation that we know you guys have come to expect.
I know you guys are pining for it. You really, we do this for the movies.
We do. We really do. And if you guys didn't get a chance, check out episodes 1 through 3. We're drinking tasty beer, map themed beer, and we talked about the game of Risk in episode 1. So check that out. But we're going to dive right into it. Just dive right into the Google Maps conversation. Alex, did you have some images you wanted to share?
Yeah, no, I have 2 that I would love to share.
All right, you go first then.
All right, so one of my things is just kind of messing around. For those of you who know me well enough, you'll know that I often will just kind of tinker around in my spare time with Google Maps. I'm more of a Google Map guy than a Google Earth, and it's mainly just because of all the weird things that you can find.
Okay.
So, one, I always find it funny when this is in Norilsk, Russia. This is one of the largest populated cities that is north of the Arctic Circle. It is also one of the most, I think, polluted cities on the planet. It's like 1% of all the methane in the world, or carbon dioxide. One of those pollutants comes from this city. Yeah. It's because I think it's like they have some sort of mining. I forget what it is. It might be nickel. But so one of the things that I always love, you can kind of tell when the time of when these things are filmed. I always love when people are just randomly staring, into the camera. But look at this. This is Ralph Breaks the Internet, the second Wreck-It Ralph movie.
Oh yeah.
So you can see this, which is really
funny.
fun. Now,
are there any other good movies showing in that movie theater?
Well, let's take a look here.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, we're basically on Google Street View, and we're next to a Russian movie theater.
Yeah, it looks like the rest are Russian.
Yeah, looking to see what's playing at this movie theater.
Yeah, so I want to show you this particular thing because I thought it to be rather odd. Okay. And I was trying to figure out for years, where do they pop up? Hold on.
This looks so cold.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, these guys, this cracks me up. All right, so these guys have been, if you like literally you're doing Street View and you just kind of, walk around Norilsk, these dudes in these suits are walking around. And they seem to have a habit. Let's see if I can find them again. Yeah. There's a red suit dude, there's a blue suit dude, and there's a yellow suit dude. And I have no idea what they're walking around for. And the funny thing is they kind of trail the camera for a while. The only thing I can think of, and for those of you guys who have seen the Google cars going past, let's see if there they are.
Yeah, they're not discreet.
No, they're not. Which makes me often think, for those of you guys who understand Google Maps enough, will know that sometimes these random passing by of these Google cars will happen. And there's some people that will actually prepare. Whoops.
Yeah.
Will prepare and sorry, that was random. There we go. Will sometimes prepare and will actually dress up in animal suits or something. So this kind of thing, I'm like, it's cold, so I get why they be wearing these things, but I'm not completely sure. So that is my first one.
Looks like he has blue glasses on.
I have no idea. So if there's anybody who's been to Norilsk that would like to lend a hand, the dude, it's like they've documented
I'm sorry
it to
if you're
get like
from this area. I'm sorry if like this is like your hometown. This just looks horrible to me.
Well,
this looks so icy and
it does get down to like -50 or 60 in the wintertime.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. All right. So one more, if I may. So this one I was always curious about, and I never realized like that it's an actual place, which sounds silly, but take a look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the South Pole.
You didn't think the South Pole is a place?
Well, I know it's a place, but like, look, like they make it a thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The
where I don't know why particularly the flags are there, other than I'm guessing this has to do with the scientific community that it's around there. I believe this is Argentina, Australia, Chile, Russia, New Zealand, Norway, United States, UK, France, Japan, Germany, South Africa, I think.
Wow, very nicely done.
We could talk about flags in an episode, I guess.
We got to do like a flags episode.
But like, look at this, and I love photos like this because like you got all these penguins. Certain are standing, and then there's like this one that's just lying down.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I'm done.
He's like, nope, I'm done.
And I wonder, is this like, what is this?
Like
my
if
first,
I could read those, all those signs seem to point directly to it to describe it. But I can't read them.
The thing that I could think of is because apparently this is true in certain Russian cities. I forget the other name, but there's certain places that get so cold that you can't have internal piping in your homes because it's
Because they'll freeze. Yeah.
Because they'll freeze. So my first inclination was outhouse, but like then I'm thinking it's Antarctica.
That is one of the fanciest outhouses I know. Ever seen.
Well, but if you think about it,
I want that to be my outhouse. If that's what outhouses look like nowadays, then I'm doing something wrong. I need an outhouse.
I do not know. So that was an interesting thing. And then, of course, there's this awesome... I mean, look at this place. This looks so cool.
Okay. Is that area down at the bottom right, is that where the pole was and the flags? It looks like the same place.
It looks like it, yeah. Good eye.
It looks like the same building.
Very keen.
So it's just like an eye view or an aerial view of that area. Huh.
Now, and what's also interesting is if you look at Antarctica, one, what's interesting is lately I've heard is that Antarctica has actually come under the interest of a lot of like very rich tourism companies. So like basically if you're a millionaire and you are bored and you want something to do and you can say, hey, yeah, sure, I'll pay $60,000
$10 bajillion
to go to Antarctica. So, but what's interesting is that Antarctica is not owned by any nation. Like you can't technically, at least according to certain international treaties, you cannot own anything territorially in Antarctica. However, that does not inhibit certain countries from playing a part in the scientific base community. So there's a lot of countries that have different things. And if you notice in this particular photo, this is also indicative of how Antarctica's community is built, is that there's different ice shelves that you just would not build any structures on because they're slowly but surely moving and shifting or breaking off depending on what's happening. So this is actually built on solid rock. So Antarctica is a very interesting place to me in that it's been...
So wait, what are these structures? Well, go back.
Yeah.
So what are those structures in the background then? Are those homes?
They're homes and or like science particular areas. They're essentially built like giant warehouses. If any of you have,
they look like semi trailers,
kind of,
or like storage unit compartments or something.
They're definitely built to keep the cold out. Which if any of you have,
hope so. Yeah.
If any of you have seen The Thing, John Carpenter's '80s classic, terrifying movie. But very interesting in its set design about how places in extreme cold would actually build their structures. So
it's a very good board game too, by the way. There's a whole board game based off of that movie.
Interesting.
That is actually very, very good.
Very good.
Go check it out. The Thing.
So yeah. So that's those are my main two. For whatever reason, I have a interest in extreme cold places on Google, but it's probably because I'll likely not go there.
Well, it's not necessarily that as much as it is like, yeah, Antarctica is like one of those places that like we don't get to see. They're like, we don't know anything. I mean, as civilians, just common, ordinary folk like you and me, we don't really know that much about it. So that's pretty cool. Like, yeah, I understand that. That's what like Google Earth and stuff like that is for. Like, you get to go to places that you're just like, I have no idea. Like, what is this? You know, it's kind of fun. I just have a compilation of just funny photos. We'll just kick off with this.
Oh yeah.
This is so like you said, people prepare for the Google Street View card to go by, and I'm assuming, at least I'm hoping, this is somebody who prepared. I hope this isn't somebody that just got caught doing something,
wearing a horse mask.
Yeah. Yep, an individual sitting at a very like a tea table with flamingos around him, wearing very casual clothes like boat shoes and shorts and a horse mask on top of that. So it looks like
what is it about horses' heads that if they're on like biped creatures like that, even if they're just for fun, they're the weirdest like reactions that I always get when I see the horse head. It's very strange.
I don't know. It's the oblong shape. I feel like it just,
like I don't get as weirded out when people wear chicken like suit gear, but for whatever reason, like horses, I'm just like, no, I draw the line at horse. Nope.
No.
Do you think he plays horse?
Cross the equine line.
Is he? Do you think he's rated in the Gallup polls? You know the problem about horses in Congress?
What?
They never can agree on doing anything, but all of them say nay.
Our Googler is giving you a thumbs down. Anyway, moving on. All right, more masks. So if the horse, you said you were more comfortable with this, so let's do this.
Well, this is a flock of them though. Like this is like, or do you call it a flock?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you call a group of pigeons? Hey, Googler.
Wait, what's a group of people called? A crowd?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yes. A crowd of people. All right. I'm just making sure.
I thought you were asking about pigeons. I was like,
but
I don't know.
But is it so a crowd of people and a flock of pigeons? So it's a floud of pigeon people.
Yes. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people standing in line. My question is though, where is the Google car going? This isn't even a road.
Well, I know if you take your cursor, not with that specifically, but like on Google Maps, if you take your cursor and you can kind of just like point and drag to look down, you can usually tell if it's a car or if it's a human. And my guess is that it's probably the walking path that they took a photo with. And my guess is
a sidewalk. It says up here.
I'm guessing whoever took that photo let him and all his friends know what was happening, and they made a plan, and that was their contribution to society, which I absolutely love.
Where do you get 8 pigeon masks?
eBay.
Goodness gracious, who has these items? Yeah. So, and again, for you listeners, we're looking at a row of 8 people wearing pigeon masks on the sidewalk that was captured by
Rich, and we can go to the next one, but the thing that must be remembered is that the weird thing is not that there were 8 people that had pigeon masks to use. The weird thing is knowing that there's a factory somewhere in the world that makes thousands of them.
Oh man. This I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, this is a corn maze, but it's a Street View challenge, so you can actually go through the corn maze in the Street View. So you can, on your computer, you can actually go through this.
Oh, maze. Interesting. Oh, and the goal is for you to actually try to figure out via the map to how to get out.
Right, how to get out. That's cool. Yeah, but that like they created this whole thing for the Street View apparently. So like this is a whole corn maze that you can go through by yourself. So if you live in an area where there's no corn, and you've always wanted to do a corn maze, so you've always aspired to do a corn maze, then this is an option for you. Go on to Google Earth and see if there's any corn mazes that you can do just by like clicking through the area. But
do you like going through corn mazes? Because I am kind of on the fence about that as an activity.
I've yet to go through a corn maze that I've thoroughly enjoyed. As a resident of Indiana growing up and now being back in the Midwest, I've gone through a fair share of corn mazes. It's hard. The corn never looks like this. It never looks green and lush. It's always dead, and you can always see through the corn to the area beyond. I think it's a group thing too. Like I've never, and sometimes it just depends. Like sometimes you're with a group, like with kids and stuff, and the kids will cut through the maze, and you're like, okay, that's fine, whatever. Like we're not here to really actually like solve this thing, like we're just kind of having a good time. So we'll cut through the maze or whatever, jump to another side of it.
Right.
Like that doesn't bother me, but like, yeah, if it's like a group of like let's go into this maze and like let's solve it, and like I don't know. I've just never had that experience, I guess. It's been like let's do it, and it's actually been significant.
I just feel like there's been too many movies that I've seen in my life where like there's never like a there's never a good experience that somebody has in a cornfield like by themselves.
What are you talking about? We just got done talking about Field of Dreams.
Well, but like it's a little creepy in the beginning, right? He starts hearing voices.
It is, yeah.
Right, you're kind of like, wait, what? He's hearing voices.
Run.
but the only one that I always will think of anytime I think of corn maze, unfortunately now I think of Signs, and Signs terrified me when. Well, mind you, he also was in the cornfield at night, which is probably not the best bet in general.
Yeah. But probably a good idea to stay in the house. Yeah, corn's not a good place to be at night.
No,
I grew up in a house surrounded by corn too, so I guess I'm not that freaked out by it. But yeah, so I would agree. Yeah. Children of the Corn 2 is.
Haven't seen that. Won't see it. Just knowing what happened. Or at least understanding at least a little bit, I'm just kind of nah. So what we're saying is, though, we need to change the narrative about corn mazes and cornfields and make it actually a good experience.
Right. So, yeah. And for those of you listening and watching, this is a good way to get a very safe experience in a corn maze.
It's really yeah.
From the safety of your home on your own computer, you can complete a corn maze. If you're somebody like Alex that's freaked out by. By the corn.
I don't know.
Just do the corn maze on Google Earth, and while you're at it, just do everything else on Google Earth. While you just find other ways to just complete your entire life online. Don't have any other physical experiences beyond that. Okay, sorry.
I think Rich at the end of this year, by this time with COVID, oh my Lord, Cinderella.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow. Well, I think with the pandemic, people are eager to travel, and this is
right.
Google Maps is just giving people great ideas. Where is this?
This I don't know. It's in 2008. It's cut off. This is in Uxbridge Road.
Uxbridge Road
down here. This looks like the UK. I feel like.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
They're driving on the left side of the road. Right?
Good observation. Yeah. You're right.
So, and they're completely backing up all this traffic. Can you imagine being at the back of being at the back of all this? You finally get to the front of it, and this is what's causing the delay.
Well, and I think the icing on the cake, honestly, is the headdress on the horses. where like I feel like I would get annoyed, and then once when I see that, I'm kind of thinking, all right, it's fine. Let them have their fun.
It is good.
That's funny.
Good. Yeah. This is and again for you listeners, this is the Cinderella carriage. What do you call this? Carriage?
No, I think yeah.
Yeah, this is the Cinderella carriage that was once a pumpkin. Is basically in real life being trotted down the middle of the road, causing a huge backup on what we assume to be this English roadway here. So yeah. Anyway, if you're gonna take your carriage out for a spin, we suggest the back roads, definitely. All right, so there's that. A few more to go. I found a whole bunch of these. This one was actually pretty terrifying, so I apologize.
Good grief!
So these aren't people.
All
if
right.
you look a little closer, this is just a whole bunch of like dummies. So the story behind this, they're like little mannequins, or what's a better word for them? Just like sandbag dummies, replicas of people. And this is a bus stop. This is in the east somewhere. You can tell by the writing here. I don't know exactly where this is at. So the story here is that this village is somewhat abandoned, not completely abandoned, because a few people still live here, and those people that still live in this area decided that they were very lonely, and that they would make these little mannequins to sit at the bus stops that used to be, or the little park benches here, to basically fill the space of where their neighbors used to be.
Oh, so sad.
It's very sad. So, anyway, I thought that was very interesting and somewhat terrifying. But yeah, these apparently somebody went through all the effort of making all these fake people so that they wouldn't feel so lonely when they went out.
Gosh.
Think about that the next time that you are talking about your COVID quarantine. Like, at least you're not to the point of making fake mannequins for other people.
But we're probably getting close there.
We're getting close.
We're edging closer. Oh my.
Yeah. I love just like looking at this photo and going like, born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, free to follow your heart.
What is that from?
That song?
Yeah.
Or the photo?
Well,
I don't know what the song's from.
I'm assuming the photo's from Alaska or Norway or something up north.
Yeah. Someplace beyond.
That's an impressive
antlers, though.
Yeah, I mean he's like going full gallop too.
Yeah, he's gone.
Very impressive.
The interesting part of this is probably he is probably going really fast. What happens up here is the question. Like, hooves and concrete don't mix very well when it comes to steep right turns.
Nope.
So hopefully this moose was okay, or elk, or whatever this is.
I think it's a caribou.
This is an image that you and I have probably seen before.
Ah, yes.
A dude smoking on top of a on top of a mailbox.
I love New York City so much.
Yeah.
I love New York City. There's stuff like that where you can pull off and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because there's just so many people. And I don't know. It's
I feel like these two are just so iconic to New York City. They got to be in other cities, right? Like this whole like structure, right?
Yeah.
For the scaffolding.
Scaffolding. Yeah. It's very New York.
It's got to be in other countries or other cities as well, but I just feel like this is just so, like, you take one look at this photo, you're like, yeah, this is New York. This is Manhattan. If the guy smoking on top of the mailbox didn't help you, than the scaffolding would. All right, just a few more, and then we'll be finished here. This is kind of in the same vein as the horse and the other guys. Just some guys in scuba gear, waiting for the Google car to come by. So there's that. And then this one really kind of baffled me too.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, I guess people do this, right? Where they're skiing down mountains without snow.
I don't think he's actually skiing. I think he's probably just posing for it. But either way, it's super cool.
Yeah, and look at those mountains in the background. This is a cool place to go. He looks like he's going though. He looks like he's moving.
It's up for debate.
Either that or he's just like really intense.
No, it was Rich. It was a storm that blew him over there, or receding water. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Moving on. We got to talk about movies because that's always an important thing.
We got to talk about movies.
Did you have? I wanted to start with movies that have maps as the primary plot point. And we'll just kind of rifle through them. We don't have to go into a lot of detail with them, but anything that has like treasure map movies or anything else that you had that came to mind.
So I'm going to go with the ever classic Raiders of the Lost Ark because the very first scene has Indiana Jones using a map. Not to be dismissed either is the second follow-up Indiana Jones movie being Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, in which the map whole thing is like the entire fight for the Nazis in Indiana Jones over his dad's diary. And lastly, at least for me, certainly last but certainly not least would be the all-time classic National Treasure, which has a secret map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
National Treasure. That's a great one. Great classic treasure map story. That's good.
Right.
Yeah, map on the back of the the Declaration of Independence. Man,
yeah,
classic, very good.
Great. It's a great film.
The first one at least.
Yeah, well,
it was very good. I had Indiana Jones too, but I didn't even think about the actual map that he used. I was thinking about how they showed him going from one place to another.
Traveling by map. Yeah,
that cool transition shot that takes a significant amount of time for a movie. I feel
it's
like
classic. It's a classic.
Showing him like flying in the red line going across the screen. With the music.
Brontosaurus. And now Lima.
Yeah. Right.
You
just had traveling back and forth in Venice and all those crazy places. I did have Goonies on there as well. Classic treasure map movie. Little Rudy, I like to call the Little Rudy movie is what I call it. Hey, you guys! Pirates of the Caribbean,
classic.
Obviously, Treasure Island, classic. These are, anything pirate themed is going to have some type of map based thing. I did also come across Harry Potter and the Marauders map.
The Marauders map, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, exactly. Which I thought was. It's good. It's a good thing to mention in the conversation of maps. It brings a different kind of light to the map conversation where you can actively see things happening on the map. Not exactly like my my basic training story where you have to pour the canteen out to see the water show up on the map. That's not the case, but in Harry Potter universe that is. I also made a list of movies where I feel like they could have used a map. It could have helped with the plot if they would have had a map. Castaway, yeah, that's a good one. Castaway would have been great. Yeah, Finding Nemo, I think would have been great. Just had a map to where Nemo was. That would have solved a lot of the issues. I feel like Titanic. If they had any type of special map that could help them identify areas in that might be a little glacier or sorry, not glacier. Didn't run into a glacier. If they had a map of anything that was like iceberg heavy,
that's a bad captain right there. Yeah, sir, right. We're going forward. It's a glacier, right, sir? No, we'll be fine. We'll miss it.
So you ran into an iceberg? No, sir. No. We ran into a glacier.
Ice.
You're like, okay, well, you're fired.
Yeah. Sorry, you don't get the job, sir.
Yeah. Sorry. Lord of the Rings. I feel like Frodo could have used a map at some points. It would have been helpful, other than just going off of the word of other people about where to go.
I'm just surprised he didn't hold the ring out, though, and be like, all right, lead me to Mordor. I mean, if you think about it, because isn't the ring calling?
Right.
Sauron?
That's where it wants to go.
Yeah, it'd be like, all right, just take the ring on a walk. Put a leash on it.
Off of his neck, just kind of pulls him. Missed
opportunity, Tolkien. Missed opportunity.
Right. Wizard of Oz, but they kind of had the yellow brick road. So, but it's still, if they would have just had a map, I feel like it would have, because there were points where it like forked, right? And they're kind of like, well, which way do we go?
Yep.
Wizard of Oz, anything with the title of anything type like a maze or a labyrinth in it, I feel like a map would have been helpful. Maze Runner and Labyrinth. And then I did have 2 movies three movies that I wanted you to guess that had map based terminology in them. So
I am Legend is one.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Legends of the Fall, and
that's good.
I
Am Legend. That's funny.
And
anything the skeleton key
and Latitudes of Destiny.
Latitude, is that a real movie?
No, it's not a movie.
No, it's like
Latitudes
I was like, oh wow,
of Destiny.
Wow, right.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, what's the other one?
I had one, the Golden Compass, which
yes.
2007 fantasy adventure film. And then I also had Cloud Atlas. Atlas as the
Good.
I didn't actually see that movie. I don't know if mapping is part of that story or not, or
it's
Atlas
been
is just
so
a fancy
long since I've seen it. It was a movie, that's for sure. It was
a movie.
It was a movie.
It did. Yeah, it did exist at some point in time.
It was interesting.
All right. Well, that's part 4 of the series. That's going to wrap up the whole series on maps for us guys. We appreciate
about
you.
Maps.
Yeah, we talked about maps.
Whole time,
we did that.
guys. Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah,
we did that
it.
thing.
We did it.
Yeah. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. And we continue to do it. Week in and week out, month in and month out, we end up doing what they say can't be done. And that's talk about maps. or anything else for a very, very, very long time.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Well, be sure to subscribe to the content, guys. Please be sure to do that if you like what we're doing. The more you subscribe, the better it is for us. Check us out on the podcast on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that kind of stuff, guys. Any podcast platform probably has us on there. YouTube channel Table Talk with Rich and Alex for the video versions. We appreciate you guys listening and watching, and we'll be back next month for other things to talk about. God knows what we'll be talking about next month, guys, but you are going to be here to listen to it, I'm sure. But until then, guys,
be happy,
brew happy,
and game on.
Cheers. Why are you so obsessed with MapQuest? There's nothing like what was it about MapQuest that you like?
Because they were the first, man.
Just like nostalgia.
A total nostalgia. Like I want them and Blockbuster to combine forces and create a company that somehow come back.